strive to become what I hate. Don't know what to fill my heart with. Life got way too fast too soon, except with toxic misuse. I ain't what time says I should be. 2.4 kids and an LD. Life got way too fast too soon. I miss my childhood bedroom. I'm on my way to starting again. I feel like a slave.
That's some fucking riffage right there, son.
Gary doesn't like listening to his own music.
Well, it's weird because I feel like you by the time you finish recording it,
Let's bring this guy up closer to you,
I
man.
will do, man. Sorry.
Good stuff.
I think by the time you finish recording it, it's like in the studio, you hear the same song about 80 times in various levels of production, and then by the time it all comes together, you're sick of hearing it.
Aye.
So like fucking would be like, oh, I love that track 7 off your album. Like I can't even remember what it goes like.
I
To be
can
honest,
imagine.
man,
So Cardboard Engine, that's your most recent album, innit? Am I right in
Yeah.
saying that? When did you record and get that out to the world?
That was just earlier this year. It was about, what are we on now? October. It was probably about June 2018.
well remembered.
I know it would have been before that because it came out just as I was started a tour in the States for a band called Muso. And I remember we were hanging out and got an email saying it had been uploaded to Spotify.
Right.
So I was like, oh, my new album's out today. I forgot about that. So listening in the tour bus driving through the States, that was pretty cool.
How long did it take to stick together? The full thing, the full album, end to end?
Well, we recorded the whole thing in about 3 sessions, I think. So yeah, because the way I do it is I'll like record basic demos in the house, just with programmed drums, and I can play a bit of bass, and then I'll send them to the guys just in the demo state, and then they'll just go, yeah, so you basically want us to play that but better. Because I'm just programming the most basic stuff because I know that they'll play their own stuff on it anyway, and it's always going to be better than what I could. Mm-hmm. I'm not a drummer, I'm not a bass player, but I just program a vague idea of what I want, put my guitars and vocals on it, and then by the time we get in the studio, we'll play it live about 5 or 6 times anyway, and usually the guys do their parts in one take.
And did you have it on the tour bus with other guys that were on? Did they have a wee swatch on the?
Aye, with the band, I was over there. But yeah, they were like, oh, didn't expect you to be doing stuff that was kind of as heavy as that. Because while I was there, we were doing like country pop and blues. In fact, we did play some tunes from my first album while I was over there. A song called "Man That Boy Could Play," and most folk goes, "I know Shania Twain." I'm like, no, it's a different tune.
I think it's safe to say that yourself and your function band are probably one of the most well known in Scotland. Let's face it. You're busy for probably, correct me if I'm wrong, years in advance anyway.
Aye, we do. We're lucky enough to have a great agency called Coast Entertainments, who I've been with for about 7 or 8 years now, and it's just once we got up and running with them, it's just like clockwork. The gigs come through, and luckily we're busy enough with that I've got enough spare time to do my own stuff, which is tunes like what we just heard there.
That's cool. I mean, so let's go back. When did you start playing guitar?
34 now, so 20 years. Jeez.
So when you were 14?
Yeah, I was 14 when I picked it up. I wanted to be a drummer at first, but Mum and Dad was like, "You're not having a..." Well, because a guitar just seemed like, no, it's going to be...
You obviously don't like getting your hole then.
I just picked up the drums when I was listening to like Oasis and that, and then...
this is easy.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't want to be derogatory to any drummers there, but I first picked up the drums, and then my dad played guitar, and he was like, "Why don't you learn the guitar?" And I was like, it looks too hard. I'll just hit things, it'll be fine. And then I realised within about a year that my ego was way too big to sit behind the kit for the rest of my life. And I was like, no, wait a minute, the guy at the front's getting all the birds. I'll do that instead.
Quite right, man.
Learned Wonderwall, and was all downhill from there.
Started getting your hole.
Yeah.
So was that your inspiration? Is that the kind of music you listened to back in the day?
It's obviously evolved as anybody with over 20 years of playing music. But started off with Oasis, and then from Oasis it was like the Foo Fighters, and then Rage Against the Machine,
Aye.
Limp Bizkit, and I think that kind of new metal thing's probably about as heavy as I've ever gone. I'm not really into kind of screamy stuff really, because my passion's always going to be like amazing choruses, like soaring, like stadium filling choruses, you know. And I just don't the shreddy kind of really technical side of playing's never really been. I don't know if I hide that well or not, like, but the shredding and all that is not really my thing.
I'm hearing that as well. Don't get me wrong, I've listened to fucking some of the heaviest shit out there, but I'm very much fucking benchmarked in the 80s with the White Snake choruses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Still argue what's a better song, Here I Go Again by White Snake or Foreigners, I Want to Know What Love Is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the age-old argument for me anyway. Still no made a decision.
What's the Thunder one? When Love Walked In?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? That has to be in there.
Right.
No for me.
You guys are all about the air grabbing power ballads, aren't you?
Oh, 100%, man. Fucking unashamedly as well, baby. So where did the blues side of things come in? Because I've always identified you, and I think a lot of people have been a blues guitar player. Was that?
I think that's something I kind of I forced. I tried to, over a period of time after I listened to like Eric Clapton, like when I went through my rock phase and with the Rage and stuff like that. I wouldn't say it was a phase when I picked that up. And then I was like, right, what else is there? And I listened to Eric Clapton, B.B. King, and I was like, oh, wow, that's how a guitar's supposed to sound. And then I just decided one day, I was delivering pizzas. I used to work for Domino's in Perth, and I was delivering a pizza, and I was listening to this Eric Clapton album, From the Cradle, and it was all like his favourite blues songs, and he'd covered them with his band, and this song came on, it was an old Freddie King song. I'm not going to remember the name of it right now, which is crazy, but it came on and I was like, right, that's how a guitar should sound. And now I guess I'm a blues guy now. But I was only about 22 at the time, so I hadn't really.
Aye.
I was being really cocky by saying, okay, now I'm a blues guy, just because I like that song. And over the period of time, I got into like Stevie Ray Vaughan and, you know, Buddy Guy. I really love Buddy Guy because he was such a showman with the blues as well. And he was one of the first guys that made me, because everybody, if you don't know much about blues, then you'd probably just, like the layman would just go, oh, that's depressing music. But guys like Buddy Guy and Stevie Ray Vaughan, I really like, you know, I thought, wow, it can be fast and upbeat as well. So that's the kind of blues that I like playing, is like the Pride and Joy, and even his later stuff like Couldn't Stand the Weather and the Stevie Ray Vaughan side of things.
Aye.
That's certainly the side that I would kind of associate more with you, having seen you play, rather than I'm surprised you said Oasis.
Really,
I wouldn't have thought that at all.
Well, I nearly wore my Busted t-shirt today just to throw people off. I really love Busted as well.
Oh, do you?
No, yeah, I mean, like a lot of stuff. As long as there's a guitar and a great chorus, I love it. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Absolutely. I mean, if there was a Busted t-shirt when we walked in, I'd probably be like that. Is that the phone? Just talked into my hand and went, oh, sorry, Gary, we'll need to reschedule this. No judgments, man. No judgments for me.
Yeah, for a day when you're not wearing that t-shirt. No, I've seen Busted live 3 times.
We'll edit that bit out if you want.
I don't mind that, you know. We were just talking about Stevie Ray and Rage Against the Machine.
Absolutely.
Might as well get the whole lot in, warts and all, you know.
Oh, fucking right. Do you know what I mean? That's
See, the thing with music is like that, but isn't it? See, if you like it, you like it.
Aye.
You shouldn't be embarrassed about it.
That's it.
Unless it's busted. Maybe.
I will defend them to the last. I love the guys.
What got me was that Charlie for Busted left to form Fight Star or be part of Fight Star, which was let's call it an emo band if you want. Let's just generalise it to a rock band. And some of the songs, they had big choruses, heavy and stuff like that. And after that kind of ended, like, I'll go back to this Busted palaver.
Oh, I mean, it's the definite cash in, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And the nostalgia value is there now because they were around, 15 years ago. And
Are they the ones that joined up with McBusted?
McBusted, yeah, that was when Charlie wasn't there.
Aye.
It was all good fun for them, but everybody, that see behind the curtain of the music industry are kind of like, all right, well, neither of them's had a hit for a while. So I can see what's going on here.
Let's check the bank balance and fucking get some more zeros on that.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean back in the days of, what was one of the bands, Rocket Fox? Back in the days of that. I didn't know you then, but I knew of the band. I'm sure I seen Rocket Fox as part of a gig in the QMU Going back years and years ago.
Aye, that's right.
Do you know what I mean?
We did play the QME. That was one of my favourite gigs. We did it once. I can't remember. I don't know if we were supporting anybody big, but it was a great night. We were just with them bands. We'd always, you play great venues, but there's only 20 people in them.
Aye.
There was, we also played the O2 Academy as part of some big thing, but we were the first band on, so you play in this massive venue and you look forward to it for months, and there's like 20 people in the room that holds 8,000 or whatever, It was good fun. I like being in that band because it was like it was just all about the songs, like in the choruses, and there was no flashy guitar playing. Not that there even still is, or even is to this day, but it was all just about how good can we make this song with just 3 chords. And me and Fiona, who was the bass player, she that was our how we got together, was just everybody else around us was getting heavier and drop D riffs and 7-string guitars, and we were like, that's all right, we like Avril Lavigne and Busted, we're going to go down this road. And it worked out good for us because there wasn't many bands doing that at the time. Just a simple cut. We loved the band The Subways. Remember them?
I remember them.
Rock and Roll Queen was their big hit, And it was the guy-girl lead vocals that were always interesting to us, and how you can. I love 3-piece bands because they can't have any dead weight. Everybody's got to be amazing.
Absolutely,
at what they do. Whether it's just simple guitar playing, but you play the right things, and then you've got we had a drummer called Neil who would do backing vocals as well, and it was just like a lot of people complimented us on the vocals because there's only 3 of us, but we're all singing, we're all pulling our weight. And I think that made the difference. And the choruses were catchy as well.
So when did it stick with you that you thought, right, professional musician, that's what I want to do. That's how I want to make money. So we had the 3-card trick. When did that start? How did that come about?
I was working in a call centre at the time.
Everybody did, didn't they? Everybody worked in a call centre.
It's the last job anybody has before they go and go, right, I'm going to do something with my life now, But I spent 90% of... I was there for 3 years, and it was actually one of the best jobs I've ever had, because I got a job's only as good as the people you work with, whether that's being in when Sting plays with the Police, it must be, everybody's like, it must be amazing, but they hate each other. The tour must be absolute agony to do. But working in the call center, I got on well with everybody, and though the bosses don't know this, but 90% of my time was promoting the band online, because it was an inbound call, it wasn't sales. Right. So when you're just waiting for a call to come through, I would just be on MySpace at the time, I think it was, just promoting the band, and then I started emailing agencies, seeing if we could get any weddings, and I think a lot of people kind of laughed at us at the time because I'm not really much of a singer. I'm definitely more of a guitar player than a singer, and everybody's like, you can't be a singer in a wedding band, man. You sound like, what is it our agent says? He goes, sound like Rod Stewart going face first through a meat grinder. At the best of times.
It's niche spots.
Yeah, definitely. I just started emailing agencies, and then they went, well, you kind of, one of the first things he said to us, well, yeah, you kind of sound like a poor man's Ernest. And Ernest are like the biggest 3-piece covers band in probably Britain. And he was like, they're, even to this day, they're unmatched by anybody. But this was like 8 years ago, and he was like, yeah, we could probably sell you as like a cheaper, poor man's Ernest. And I was like, cool, whatever. And then within like 2 weeks, we had like 10 bookings. And I was like, I don't fancy going into the call centre today. But the worst thing about it was I never actually had my last day. I just didn't go in, So they phoned up and they were like, you've not been in for a week. And I was like, yeah, I don't work there anymore.
Oh, fuck you guys.
Yeah. It would have been nice to do the whole, shitting on the boss's desk thing, but I'll maybe still go back and do it one day,
So was that Coast at the time? They got you the 10 gigs?
Exactly, aye.
Right, okay. So how long has that been? You've been with Coast?
Well, we've been with them for 8 years now. What happened was like I said, when I was in the call centre, I literally emailed our press pack to like 10 agencies, and 7 of them didn't get back to us. 2 of them got back to us to say, yeah, well, actually one of them said, no, we don't want you. And the other one was Freak Music in Edinburgh. They said, yeah, we'll put you on the website and that. But it was all automated, it was literally just put your profile up, and if you get any gigs, that's great. But Coast were like, yeah, we could definitely do something with this. Like,
That's pretty good.
And after about a year of working with Coast, we were like, nah, there's some magic here. So we just decided to go exclusive with them.
Okay, ideal. So did you just hit the ground running with that? Obviously, you had 10 gigs before you knew it, but was it just constant after that?
Yeah, I mean, there's never really been a dip. I think just because we were so lucky to get there, well, at a time when they didn't really have any other kind of rocky sounding bands except John had the Works at the time. That's John McIntyre. Hello, John. And his new band, The Rocks, are definitely worth checking out as well. He was with a band called The Works at the time, and I saw them and I was like, yeah, this guy's obviously a much better singer than me, but he's still doing that kind of rock thing that I thought you could never get away with as like a wedding function band, you know. But he brought bands like that, brought a lot of credibility to an otherwise kind of I don't want to say cheesy, because some of the bands are still doing the kind of traditional style function band, but you know, the kind of standard, you know, Lionel Richie, Whitney Houston kind of things, which other bands are great at. It's just not something I ever thought that'd be a thing.
Is there any songs that you do that, like, a little bit of you dies every time you play it?
I could probably pick about 30 out of my hat right now. But yeah, but every time I play them, you find a different way to enjoy playing it. And for me, if the dance floor is mobbed and folk with smiles on their faces having a great time, I'm like, well, how much of an arsehole would I have to be to go, I'm not playing that. You know, 100 people in front of you want to hear it. And just because I'm a snob, and I'm like, well, if it's not by Stevie Ray Vaughan or John Mayer, I'm not playing it. Yeah. But it's part of the job. It's what you get paid for.
It must be the same for you when you're dying to put Yazoo's "Don't Go" on. Do you know what I mean? When you're doing a DJ set, do you know what I mean?
We've got running. I wouldn't say it's a bet. What is it? The peer pressure to play
a little bit.
Yazoo, "Don't Go" at the Christmas party nights.
It's become a bit of a traditional thing, I think, even over the space of a couple of years. And to be honest, folk are just going mental for it.
Yeah,
there was 3 people.
Called it from the start.
The 3 people that are up love it. But
yeah.
So, but no, that's what I was going to say. I mean, like, I don't think it matters if you're saying that there's songs that you love playing or songs that you don't like playing. The good thing about it is seeing the feedback from the people you play it to and want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean,
that must be the good thing, because to be honest, if I played fucking Shang-a-Lang 5 nights a week, I would probably throw myself right out that window. While singing Shang-a-Lang.
Yeah, but it is a lovely window and Shang-a-Lang covers pay for it. You know what I mean? It's one of them things.
There you go.
I mean, every musician, everybody does the covers band, and of course the DJs thing as well. Is like, that girl again, especially bass players. I mean, I don't know how bass players do it, man. There must be. I get bored sometimes playing these songs, but Sweet Home Alabama is literally just D, C, G for 5 minutes, and there's no. I mean, again, they find their own ways to enjoy it. They might start putting like a wee Prince lick in that nobody will notice except them.
Is that when Dean just turns up with the glasses with the eyes on it and kind of slowly falls asleep?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's done that more than once. Like, but. Now we have our own ways of dealing with it with certain gigs, and we'll drink to that.
Okay. You let Dean sing sometimes, don't you?
I let him sing. He has to. He has to, because I can't. I mean, we're doing, like, this weekend just gone. We did 3 weddings in a row. Where at the last minute they'd added on the extra hour at the end of the night. So then I'm singing from 8 till 1, 3 nights in a row. And
nobody needs that extra hour.
Well, it's like. All it is
maybe the clocks went back.
I mean, you can already see at 11:30 they're starting to waver. You know, they're either steaming or tired or whatever. And the only thing is, if you have 4 hours, most bands can do 4, or well, it's actually 3.5 after you've had your wee break for the buffet. I'm specifically talking about weddings here, obviously. But then when you add another hour in, it kind of dilutes the hits that you can play. You know, because you're so used to playing 3.5 hours. I can look at the clock and it'll be like, right, it's 11:05. I know what song we'll be playing. I don't know. And then I kind of wake myself up and go, we're halfway through Proud Mary. Like, honestly, I'll turn to Gibby sometimes, the drummer, and I'll be like, have we already done the second verse of Suspicious Minds? And he's like, no, just keep. I'm like, I'm in my own head. And
just automatic.
Yeah, it's just you're an autopilot, but you don't. I mean, I'm only on autopilot if the gig's going well, if the people are dancing. And some people come up to the gigs and go, they'll be after the gig, like, where was all the chat that we saw at the showcase? I'm like, or other gigs. I'm like, well, the reason I had to talk was to noise them up and get a bit of atmosphere in the room. But if everybody's dancing, they don't want you to stop and tell them jokes and stuff. They just want you to keep the beat going. And that's one of the things that we're good at is, I think maybe just because we are a three-piece, we've got this ability to just like sign language or telepathically tell each other what song we're playing next, so there's no gaps. It's not like we have to stop the song and then go, Spirit in the Sky. It's like I'll be like,
aye.
I'll be, even though the first song's still going, I'll be like, Spirit in the Sky.
Oh, there's hand signals for
hand
it?
signals and everything, man, yeah.
Let's learn these.
What's the other one?
So that I can do it next time we're doing it, and you're playing in the concert hall and you're DJing. I'll do it from the booth, and I'll do the hand signals from the booth.
What's hand signals for Don't Go?
I don't know. Something like that. We'll figure it out. We've got time.
It's one of the worst things, but I find that, I've had that kind of comment when I've been DJing. But sometimes there's nothing worse than I get that quite often.
Fucking boo!
Yeah. Honestly, there's other times when people will be like, can you just play the tunes? You don't need to hear your stand-up comedy set, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, all right, fine. I'll just shut up then.
Has there ever been any, I'm sure there has been, but has there ever been any weddings or functions in particular that have just been shite or chaotic or mental or thought, and you've kind of come away from it going, what the fuck was that?
Sometimes if it's a small room and there's a lot of people, I mean, there's a reason why I've got about $6,000 worth of Meccano in my face right now.
Right.
I'm not. There's nothing to do with that. They're literally, like this is like
blowjobs.
Like 10. Yeah, well, sometimes you got to go the extra mile for folk, No, but it's just if it's a small room and there's loads of folk on the floor and you're right on the dance floor, just having a microphone smashed in your mouth every 10 minutes, that is the worst part of the job. And it's something that you don't even think, you can't really even explain it to somebody. Like, that's the worst bit of the job, is getting a microphone hitting your face every time the dance floor is busy. And like, well, the dance floor's busy. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not charging you extra for my dental work here, so
I mean, I done the odd kind of moonlighting shift for a couple of function bands years ago, and there was the hotel at the time, I think it's a Hilton now, but it was like across the Forth Roads Bridge, just at Queen's Fair. It used to be the hotel on the hill that overlooked the river or whatnot.
Right.
So we've kind of set up on the dance floor, and this was one of the fucking weirdest weddings I've ever been at. So I'm kind of doing the sound kind of thing, got it all sounding good, and then the first dance happens, can't remember what it was, but the bride and groom looking as you would as a bride and groom, and then they do that thing, we'll invite such and such the family. So next thing I see is just a guy in a red Adidas trackie, full red Adidas trackie, white samba, just walk across the dance floor and then proceeded to go and fight his pal.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
I thought, do you know what I mean? These guys are getting cuddled in, newlyweds, and then the fucking second cousin, twice removed or something like that, is there there battering the fucking brother or something like that. And I was like, that, I need to reevaluate my life here. I don't want to be fucking standing at the side of this, doing this every weekend. So
there is a dent on the side of the van where the best man smashed the groom's face into the side of our van as we were pulling away at the end of the night.
That's pretty awesome.
I thought about getting it fixed, but I was like, nah, that's battle scars, you know what I mean?
Just a imprint of the guy's nose, like just a mould of his face you could probably take back.
The thing is, the van was actually moving at the time, so if I'd actually moved a little bit faster, he might have got thrown in the pond that was behind the van. So kind of, the van actually saved him from. But it was the best man fighting with the groom. It's crazy.
That's mad.
And well, I don't want to slag off any venues, but if I told you where it was, you'd go, aye, could expect that.
I'm going to guess. Can I guess?
Go for
The
it.
View.
No, but so got similar stories.
I did a wedding back when I first started DJing at the Newt Hill Club. So,
Right.
and you've been in the Newt Hill Club?
Instantly sounds like it'd be a riot.
Kind of dance floor, kind of raised seated area up the back. Last few songs of the night, there's the groom winching one of the bridesmaids.
Oh,
Like, oh God, don't turn round. So she turned round. But we finished the night, Loch Lomond and all that kind of stuff. She ragdolled this guy about that full fucking circle.
Jesus.
Aye, that's the worst thing I've seen. I've seen fights at weddings, but
Yeah.
aye.
I mean, there's just certain venues where something's going to kick off. because of the. I don't know whether it's the price of the venue that attracts. No, I'm just going to say scum. You know, because that's
Let's
us
lay it out in the line.
Yeah.
Fucking scum.
Yeah, I mean, some of them they're doing drugs in the toilets, and then that's the first couple of hours of the night, and then 2 hours later they're openly doing drugs in the tables
Aye.
in their mate's wedding, and I'm like, right, we need to raise our price here, guys. We're not going to get lumped in with this. You know what I
We
mean?
actually had to put signs up at our other venue in Airdrie Town Hall, because there was, like you say, weddings going in there and folk just going in and hammering lines in the toilets and all that, and it was crazy. I did say it's Airdrie. Do you know what I mean? It's Airdrie and Coatbridge area. That's exactly what you're going to get. Not to single out MD Fairgie or Coatbridge or anything like that, but you know what I mean? It's notorious.
You just think, at what point does that seem like a good idea? At my pal's wedding, I've turned up in a red trackie.
I know.
You can usually judge.
Oh no, I forgot my Coke. Oh, fuck.
You can usually judge a wedding by how the night guests come dressed.
Yeah, that's true.
I think sometimes the day guest. I bet he was a day guest.
Well, I mean,
It was matching, but
I read Adidas trackie. It could have been worse. It came in just a red Matalan trackie. I don't know. At least he's kind of went for the.
was it 4-stripe?
Yeah. Thank you, Forsyth.
Adidas 4-stripe. Fucking hell. man.
Gola. I think Gola was 5 stripes. They really went for it. Like,
So that I was going to ask. So that you're obviously your main passion is music in general, but playing your own stuff. Do you find that because you've been so many years with the function band, the wedding band, is that a hindrance for you to get folk into your original material, or is it actually a good opening for people to get into your own stuff?
put it this way, we wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for me playing covers.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's things like this arise through just being, just doing a covers thing. I mean, if anything, I would have to say that I'm literally just so. I feel lucky to be a full-time musician, because as soon as when I first moved to Glasgow 12 years ago, I was like, all I wanted to be was just. I saw these guys playing pubs, and I wasn't interested in being a millionaire. Yeah. I just wanted to be one of those guys that would go down to jam sessions and, at least be known on the scene, like the host of the jam would know his name. I just wanted the host of the jam to know my name. Aye. That's really all it was, And then it obviously escalated from there, where I started getting dep work for busier bands, and then got my own band together, 3-card trick doing covers, and started off at Rockers. Then some at Rockers got a gig at the Clutha, and then we went from the Clutha to Scotia. And when we got into Scotia, that was like,
aye.
Once you're playing in the Scotia bar every week, I know it's a small place, but it's a legendary music. But so is the Clutha,
Yeah, definitely. Have you got a few residencies then?
We do the Scotia on Sundays. A couple of places in Edinburgh every week, and
certainly the Edinburgh crowd, from what I see the videos posted, they look like they fucking love it.
Yeah,
you know
they're brilliant.
Like as if they go mad for it.
It's tourists and students, and those are the best. I mean, if it wasn't for tourists and students, we wouldn't have a job between midnight and 3 on a Tuesday. So I mean,
exactly.
You're not exactly getting your. It's not exactly a family crowd at that time of night, and they're mental. I love them. Binkies on a Tuesday. We get to do a lot of original music at Binkies on a Tuesday.
I was just going to ask that. It's good to hear, like certainly at the beer festival, that recent beer festival. It was good to hear a couple of original tunes in there.
Well, that's good, man.
Amongst that epic rock set that you played. Because I can remember when you got in contact with me and said that, I think at the time you maybe weren't too sure about what set you were expected to play.
Exactly, yeah.
And because I think you'd had a look at some of the bands as well, and you just to double check, you get in contact with me and said, what can I say? And obviously I was just like, fucking just rock up, man, if you want. And that's what you done, and it was just fucking some of the. I think that's the best set I've heard you guys play, just from a personal preference point of view.
Yeah,
I was I'm fucking loving it.
I know you said on the night, well, there's no Shang-a-Lang tonight, so that's hands down my favourite set you've done. But no, I appreciate you doing the recordings of that for us, man. We got a lot of good comments on that, and folks saying, it sounds like it was done in the studio. So,
that's good. Yeah. And I mean, it's beneficial to me, because I'm obviously, there's a few things happening. I want to give the bands like you guys a wee bit of an extra to take away from the night. Gives you an idea how it's sounded out front, because I think that can be, especially for bands, a lot of people come off and go, how did it sound out front? Because they can have a great monitor mix, but they don't know what it's like with the audience are. So it lets them kind of get an idea of what the audience have been hearing all night. It gives you a wee bit extra to take away and listen to, but also I'm always trying to raise the profile of the venue as well from my point of view. Plus, from a personal point of view, it's given me a bit of confidence. Because I'm thinking to myself, right, cool. I always say you're always as good as your last gig. So when I'm happy with a mix I've put together, and certainly when I've recorded one, I go, aye, that sounds pretty good. But at all time, you need a good band, you need good sound instruments. So essentially, I always say I'm just there to turn up the volume and mix everything together. Do you know what I mean?
See, that's the opposite of what most sound engineers think they do, innit? Most sound engineers are like, I'm polishing turds tonight. You sound crap without me. But this is somewhere between your opinion and that kind of opinion would be, I suppose, like the ideal. Well, I mean, the good thing is at least you're not cocky about it. You know what I mean?
I don't think you can be. I think you get found out straight away. Even if you're a musician, if you're a sound engineer, if you're a DJ, if you're a cocky dick, you get found out and called on it.
Listen, he said it about another couple of bands at the party nights. He has that exact word. I'm polishing a third tonight.
Really?
I'm joking.
The thing is, you just can't do it. You can't do it.
Then you go, oh wait, what's the card trick? What are we talking about?
If a drummer comes in and obviously the first thing you'll do 9 times out of 10 is let me hear the kick drum, and if that sounds like a fucking willy hitting off a beer mat to begin with, I'm not going to be able to fucking. That's what I say. I'm an engineer. I'm not a fucking magician. That's it. There's only so much you can do. It's not a fucking.
Have you heard that?
What?
A willy hatting off a beer mat?
Everybody has. Come on.
Brilliant. Depends, I suppose it depends on the size of the beater, though, doesn't it? You know.
Well, that's true. Aye. That's true.
I mean,
I do notice a difference, but see when you guys come into sound check, obviously at the party nights, your approach is just so much more straightforward. That's when you see like the cockiness in the band side. Like,
right.
see from a DJ point of view, like I did a wedding fair once. I was DJing the catwalk. I'd went in 2 hours early, set up my kit, and there was going to be a band playing straight after the catwalk. I came back in 5 minutes before the catwalk, and the band had moved all my kit, dismantled it and moved it. Yo, bastards! I thought, you're just a DJ. But you guys and your approach, like when you're doing the sound check, there's one other band, I won't mention the name, when they're sound check, I can't remember it. They were instantly forgettable.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
And just
obviously not forgettable. And if you remember who they were.
Not forgettable in that sense, I suppose.
Just their approach to it. I mean, they were like, I don't know, just prima donnas, and like they were better than that.
I don't understand this whole. Yeah. I can understand, like, if we were. I mean, I probably would even get cocky if we were, and I mean this. If we were selling out Motherwell Concert Hall with my songs, I might get cocky at that point. But you're playing Highway to Hell and at best and Shangalang at worst to people just having a party. They don't care what band you are, as long as you're a good band or a half decent band. You know, which if they are half decent, there's a third that you can polish anyway. So it's going to sound good, and they're going to have a good time. But I don't understand covers bands being remotely cocky or arrogant, because all you are is a decent musician playing other people's songs.
Maybe they don't try to be. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe they just there's that fine line between confidence and arrogance, I suppose. Maybe they don't try to be, but certainly a lot of people come off like that. And that band Stephen forgot the name of, they were certainly like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, it's like, the guitar doesn't sound good. And I'm like, well, it sounds like a fucking wasp in a biscuit tin to begin with.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can only work with what you're given. Exactly. You put shite in, you get shite out.
Absolutely.
But we swear, I think we're all right swearing this.
Aye, uncensored, unfiltered, unedited.
Brilliant.
Go for it.
Cunt.
Get him out. Cunt.
Get my fill. No, I was, speaking of cunt, there was a guy came off stage. I won't say what venue it was.
I don't know.
Comes off stage and he
why
actually,
is all being so shy these days?
His Motherwell Concert Hall.
Is it?
Sound engineer was a dick.
What one? Just to clarify, you're talking about me. He's talking about me.
He comes off stage and he said to my brother Dean, "Sorry boys, you've got to follow that." And I'm like, "Come on, man." At first, I wanted to say, do you know who I think I am? You know, like, do you know who I used to be? Rocket Fox, son. Look him up.
Busted t-shirt on.
Yeah, exactly. But I just thought, man, the epic arrogance that goes into... you thought to say that to the next band that's coming on.
Yes.
And I don't know if he was joking or not, but I was like, we've just met. Like, that's the first thing you've ever said to me. And it's probably the last thing. It's the only thing I'm ever going to remember you saying is, follow that. You know what I mean? It's like the last time I heard somebody say that was when, what was it, Jerry Lee Lewis and Chuck Berry were arguing about who was going to headline this festival thing. And Chuck Berry ended up winning the argument. Right. But Jerry Lee Lewis set his piano on fire during Great Balls of Fire, the last song. He walked off and went, follow that, champ. I'm like, there's a difference between Jerry Lee Lewis and Chuck Berry and you guys walking off and us walking on at this venue where nobody knows who we are. You know what I mean? Aye. Unless you set something on fire, I'm going to tell you a new one musically anyway. You know what I mean?
So the stakes have just been raised for the party nights?
100%.
Well, so I just think if you're going to be cocky, play that character on stage. Don't bring it into your kind of professional side of it, like the dealing with other bands or talking to bookers or agencies. And there's a way to be like a lot of people have described me as pretty cocky and arrogant in the past, and that's a character that I'm playing on stage in order to be memorable. Like all my heroes were like that.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, as most musicians do, exactly. In some capacity.
I mean, you think well, Stevie Ray Vaughan didn't really talk much, but look at him. Look what he wears.
Aye.
Well, you know, he's got the big fedora with the raccoon tail out the top of it. He's got big jangly chains in the jacket, and he's throwing his guitar about. And that's not, I suppose it's not arrogance, but it's confidence. Aye. And I remember Tommy Shannon, his bass player, he told this story about he was walking, and it was like some mall in Connecticut or something, and he's like, Stevie's walking about and he's wearing these like pink leather trousers and a leopard skin shirt and the big hat and everything.
Is that where you get the idea for that?
What's that?
The pink leather trousers?
Oh, that's a different podcast, man. And he turns to Tommy and he goes, you know, you ever get the feeling everybody's looking at you? And Tommy just looks at him and goes, sometimes they are, mate. You know?
Yeah, I think there's a fine line, but isn't there, between... I think he kind of Freddie Mercury. Like, in my mind, like, the greatest frontman of all time. There's a natural flamboyance and confidence. And you look at the guy now playing McQueen, Adam Lambert.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah.
But I think it's forced. It's not as a natural... I don't think it's like naturally part of him. With Freddie, it was effortless.
Right.
With Adam Lambert, it's more forced, and it's more of the character
I see what
that he's
saying,
playing.
yeah.
I think you get that across the board, though, and I think that when you go back to the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, I don't think you get frontmen like that anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't know why. That is.
It's I think it's to do with because they don't want to be labelled as cocky and arrogant and that. The last guy who was, I don't know what you guys' opinion on him is, but I love Liam Gallagher for that reason. He doesn't give a shit what anybody says about him, and he knows he's not great. But his character is what got him through his whole career up until now. And now that he's went off the edge of a cliff without a parachute after bringing out these albums, and he's like, oh shit, I actually can't write a song. And I can't play an instrument. So I guess I'll just complain about how I've got to make my own tea. But Liam is a character. He's basically a walking cartoon. He's like a human cartoon version of himself now, you know what I mean? But I've got a load of respect for guys who do that.
So when you seen it, I think when Liam Gallagher played Transmit, and they're waiting to come on stage, but they filmed the whole thing of him walking backstage onto the Transmit stage, and I think it lasted about a minute, and it's just a close up of him, the camera kind of following him, and just pure swagger and attitude. Do you know what I mean? And me and Mick at the console were chatting about it when we watched it, because he's on stage and you can see him turning to the monitor guy who must have had a fucking hard time at that gig, I tell you, because he's obviously telling him to turn the monitors up and gesturing as if to say, I want it to blow my fucking head off. You know what I mean? That kind of way. You can just imagine the monitor guy outside going like, what the fuck do I do? How the fuck do I get into this? But he is. I think he's great. I do. I used to love Oasis back in the 90s as well.
That's that story there you told us just reminded me of. Did you see him at Glastonbury with the problem with the fog machine?
Aye, I did.
That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. He was singing Morning Glory. And he's like, got to the bridge and the fog just engulfed the stage and you couldn't actually see him. He goes, need a little time to wake up, need a little time to wake up, turn that fucking shit fog machine off.
I don't remember that in the song.
I know, but you didn't miss a beat. It was perfectly timed. And I loved the sentence construction there. Turn that fucking shit fog machine off. Like, he managed to swear twice in a sentence. I mean, he didn't even need to say it because it was obvious that the fog machine needed turned off. I watched that video. It's probably about 9 million views, and me and my brother were about 8 of them.
I'm going to get torn in another one of these 0% alcohol beers, by the way.
That's just in case there's any cops watching and Craig's driving tonight.
Genuinely 0%. The other boys are getting torn in, quite rightly so. How's Mr. Ahab?
It's okay. That was nice, this honey thing.
What is it? The beers?
A honey beer.
Honey beer. Beehive Bray.
That's quite nice.
Those are from a couple from the Beers Festival that Big Marty sold to me at a very unreasonable deal.
I've never actually been at the beer festival. I'm always working when it's on.
Right.
I need to go.
I didn't realise it was every year.
Every year.
I thought it was a new thing.
It went away for a couple of years.
This is where the Yazoo fascination came up. That kind of synth band that comes on.
Oh,
what are they called?
Party Fears 3, and there was 2 of them this year. So Party Fears 3. When they played last year, I was like, this is incredible. They played Yazoo's Don't Go, and at that time of night, folk were just absolutely loving it, fucking killing it with the 80s. And the guys get the perfect voice for that whole Human League type of vocal, with enough reverb to sink a boat, you know. And they played again this year. I think they were booked, and then their venue manager came up and said, "Oh, Party Fears 3 aren't playing anymore. They've kind of decided to call it a day." And we're like, "Oh, gutted, man. Really looking forward to it." But apparently, 2 guys just decided to do it anyway, and they arrived and fucking killed it.
Could you work that in your set for Christmas?
Go, absolutely, man.
I ain't never gonna let you go. Don't go.
We were playing at the Scotia last night, and one of the most random requests. And sometimes we'll get a request, and I'm like, my instant reaction is, if I don't know if it's not part of our repertoire, I don't even like that word. It's the longest word I know, and I don't like it.
I got that indication by the use of air quotes.
Yeah. If it's not in our set list.
Well, that was a prime time set list. Yeah. You should have used that again.
If it's not in our set list, then I'll just go, I'm sorry, we don't know it. And I did this last night in the Scotia. Somebody shouted a song, and I knew that it was the dad of somebody who'd already booked us for their wedding because they were sitting there. It was like, I don't really. I mean, I like that they do it, but I don't understand why people would book us, pay the deposit, and then come and see us at a pub gig.
Right.
Because if they don't like us, they're like, oh, shit.
I've lost that fucking deposit now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I like that. It's nice. It's always nice to meet the folk that you're going to play to, but I'm like, well, at least please let us know you're going to be there so that I'm not going to be,
it's like fucking
saying the things that I sometimes say at pub gigs, you know what I mean? Because we just...
Are you talking about profanity?
Well, yeah, profanity, and, there's been a couple of times where we have had cancellations because the couple didn't tell us they were showing up.
Oh, really?
And I've just been talking to the regulars in the Scotia, or Box. Box is even... I mean, I'm on a different level at Box. I showed up at Box one night, and we've been doing it for quite a few years now, but the first few months that we did it, me and the bass player at the time, we would always get absolutely rat-arsed before we went on.
I used to do that at gigs as well. Gave me Dutch courage, man. Fucking.
Aye, but there's a difference between Dutch courage and thinking you're Dutch. You know, we went on stage and they were absolutely blotted. We still put on a good show because we were just playing Blink-182 and Green Day. You know, and it was easy stuff to play. And there was one night I showed up and the venue manager, Scott, he was a lovely guy, he was outside and I pulled up in the car and I was getting my gear in. He goes, "You driving tonight?" I went, "Yes." He goes, "You haven't made a fucking effort at all, have you?" So I was like, I would have thought you'd be appreciating the fact that we were going to do a gig totally sober. But he was like, "You haven't made a fucking effort at all, have you? Like, how come you can walk in a straight line? You're not going to nail that stage until you can't see it." Or until you don't know which one you're going on. But this was back in the days when I used to actually walk along the bar. Have you been in Box?
Aye. Not for a while, but aye, yeah.
I've got this wireless pack and I used to jump from the stage to the bar and just walk along that. And that was great fun. But I fell off a couple of times. Like,
Can imagine.
It was good times.
So what's next in the cards then? I mean, am I right in saying that you enjoy going over to the US of A every year?
Oh, it's amazing. The first time I went, it's really because I love country music and blues, you know, and I would never play country music here in Scotland because there's not really.
They just don't get it, I think.
Well, to them, wagon wheels country.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, well, yeah, I suppose it is, but it's to like, I've got so many little weird stories about talking to musicians there, and it's like shows you how different their idea of music is to ours. Because I was asking this guy, and this country band was playing a place called Bootleggers on Broadway in Nashville, and it was my first experience of a real country bar, like literally swinging, the saloon doors kind of thing, you know. And I was in this place, and I was just sitting at the bar on my 1 in the afternoon. The guy was like, 3-piece band playing country music. And he goes, "If you guys got any requests, just put a couple of dollars in the bucket, come over and let us know what you got, or write it on $1, and we'll bring it up here."
It's good they had Indian people playing this place as well.
Okay. Now, you give me a bottle of Bud Light and bourbon, and my Nashville accent will come and laugh, man. Anyway, so obviously I'm not going to do the accent anymore. Cock.
It's doing so well.
And he goes, "Yeah, have you got any country music requests?" And Brad Paisley is one of my favorite. We talked about Brad Paisley before because he uses Dr. Z amps.
Right.
And I wrote down in this note, I gave him $10 and wrote in the note, "Anything by Brad Paisley." He goes, he stopped the song because he saw my note, and he went, "Excuse me, sir, I know you're not from here."
Just do it, it's cracking.
But he said that. No, because my Nashville mates might watch it and go, "Is that how he thinks we talk? God damn it, my mother's my sister." If your brother's your sister, you're probably a millennial. Let's cut that one out. No, don't actually. I'm sick of that shit.
Unedited, I said.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay. So he goes, he said, "Did you the guy that just asked for Brad Paisley? And you take that $10 back. We don't play pop shit in here, man." He thought Brad Paisley was pop music.
Aye.
Like to us, he's like super country
Big time.
compared to what we know.
Yeah.
You know. And one of my friends, Alex, had a similar experience. I think he'd asked for Keith Urban, and he went to Nashville. And Keith Urban, yeah, his early stuff was good, but now it just sounds like Rihanna, which is weird because Keith Urban must have got much better at the Nashville accent much quicker than me because he's actually Australian.
That's right, aye.
And he hear him talk and he sounds Australian, and you hear him sing and he sounds like he lives in the back of his truck with a shotgun, you know.
But that's that. It's so big in America. That's the thing, isn't it? It's just it's essentially. I'm sure somebody described it: pop music with a twang and a fiddle.
Aye.
I think that's what they said. You know,
it's coming back big style, but it isn't really. I mean, I'm not old enough or cowboyish enough, whatever that is, to say what country music is and isn't. But my experience of it is that they don't consider that anything that's around just now is country music.
Yeah.
You go to the real bars over there, the real central bars, Robert's Western World will only ever put on what Nashville considers to be proper country. And they're all playing like Mel Haggard and Willie Nelson and Jerry Reed, who was a truck driver and Smokey and the Bandit. And they're they wouldn't even, they might play Folsom Prison Blues if they get too drunk to be able to play the other songs,
Aye.
And
I guess it's the same as everything else, though. It's the same as like metal music and rock music and stuff like that. You always have your people that say, "Oh, it's not Iron Maiden or Black Sabbath or anything like that, so it's not that genre."
Yeah.
So you'll always have those guys that are just so set in their ways that refuse to kind of move on, be realising that production's getting a lot better and that kind of way that a lot of it's monetary and stuff like that for these guys. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, you listen to one album by the Zac Brown Band, and then you listen to the next, and it's like electronic beats and stuff like that, just with his vocal. You're like, what the fuck happened there between albums? But
totally right, man. And in fact, that's why the Zac Brown Band did. Well, actually, Zac Brown did an EP recently with Dave Grohl on drums,
right?
And it's called the Grohl Sessions, and it's the coolest thing I've heard. It's like an exact mix between country. Well, it's what you'd expect. It's Zac Brown working with Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl's playing drums and producing it. It's like the first song on it, Day for the Dead, it's like country Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's
awesome. Mental.
I've not heard it. I'll need to check it out, definitely.
But what I will say before we wrap up talking about country, whatever, is that when I went to Nashville, it really is everything you expect it to be with regards to the quality of musicianship.
Right.
It's like, if you're Scottish and you want to make a living, you go to Glasgow. It's getting to the point if you're European and you want to be, a full-time musician, you'll come to Scotland and be in a wedding band or something like that.
Yeah.
But over there, it's like you better be able to play if you're cocky enough to walk in and say, "Can I have a shot at your guitar?" And I was like blown away to the point where my first night at a jam night, I nearly didn't go on stage because I was just shitting myself. I was like, I'm going to embarrass myself here.
Was that last year you went? Was this year?
I've been. This will be my 5th time in Nashville. So I've got my really. I've got a few wee groups of pals over there that I can hang out with. They're all just guys in other bands as well. It's
so the first time you went, did you go there just as a tourist, or did you take your guitar with you and say, I want to go and experience this? Was that the first time you went, or did that come in time?
I did take my guitar. But like I say, after seeing the quality, I just left it in the hotel room most of the week. But after over the course of the week, I did get more confident, and it's like anything. I saw a couple of shiters, and I was like, well, I'm better than him at least, But then I saw a guy playing Folsom Prison on a bright pink Ibanez, and I was like, this guy can get in the sea, by the way. That is not. I don't know what country it is really, but I know that ain't it.
Yeah, that's not it.
And he wasn't even playing. It was like dive bombing and playing through a fucking Mesa Boogie rectifier or something.
Pink Ibanez signed by Johnny Cash.
Do you know the guys, Marie Claire and John? They were in Waterfront.
Is that her that's got the magazine?
Oh.
No.
Maybe I actually bumped into the guys in Waterfront last night.
Well, they were in Waterfront. Oh, it's Stephen from Waterfront?
I know the
keyboard.
That was him that I bumped into.
Nice guy.
Him and the drummer.
Ross. Is it Ross? Ross Finlay.
Aye, lovely guys.
Nice guys.
Yeah.
I used to gig with him at Celtic Park.
Right.
We split the crowd.
They've got their.
Were you playing Simply the Best?
They've got their big Optimus Prime truck, haven't they?
Aye.
Waterfront on the side.
They've got their sound engineer Kenny.
Yeah.
You need to meet this guy.
Really?
They're a different level of band. We're basically a pub rock band pretending to be a wedding band, but they're like a world class show band.
Yeah.
Even when you see them playing massive arenas, corporate events in arenas, you're like, you could literally be the Jackson 5's band.
Right.
You're that good, and tight and fluid and professional and everything that we're not really, you know what I mean? But we're not that kind of band, people don't book us expecting a show band that's going to be, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-Card Trick Show featuring your host, Gary Johnstone,
There's time to get that sorted out.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I'm like, all right, folks, how you doing? We used to be shite, now we're all right. We're 3-Card Trick.
Do you like Shangalang?
Through the monitors.
I did actually have an opportunity once to play a good friend, Graham Forbes, who he plays Keith Richards in about 5 Stones tribute bands from all around the world. He's basically the guy that I want to be. I mean, obviously Keith Richards, but if I can't be Keith Richards, I'd want to be Graham Forbes, because he's got a flat in Florida. He's got a house in Florida and a house here, so he kind of just switches between and tours with any band that needs a guitar player that's like Keith Richards. I'd be like, man, if I can. The guy must be he's in his 60s, I think, but he's a great player. He's like what I was saying earlier, you don't have to really be cocky off stage to be, if you can be cocky on stage, which he is, because he's got all the poses and he acts and expresses himself musically just like Keith Richards and all these legends. But you talk to him off stage and he's the most humble, cool, down-to-earth guy.
It's interesting that, it takes me back to when we spoke to Jinky Gilmore, and that was one of the conversations we had with him. It's like he's got these characters on stage and then he's got himself off stage, and sometimes he's saying, he's like, sometimes I wish I could be that guy on stage, do you know what I mean, but I'm not playing music, that kind of way. I wonder who he is. So it's an interesting contrast.
But I think the truly kind of successful guys, there's a little bit of that in them.
Right.
I think there has to be. Otherwise, you're a fraud. You're a fake.
Right.
There needs to be something in there, and people see through that.
Aye.
There needs to be some sort of showmanship within you.
Aye, yeah. I
think Jinky definitely, there's that. He probably doesn't realise it.
Right.
Aye, 'cause I think
but that kind of warm, I don't know, that kind of character.
I guess he was talking in the kind of sense of like, if you turn up to a gig and you're maybe under the weather, you just cannot be fucked.
Yeah, but
you still turn it on when you go on. As soon as you go on stage, it changes and you turn it on and you're.
Yeah, you can't really. It's the playing the gig that is the therapy to counteract whatever's made you in a bad mood.
Yeah.
To me, it's like if I didn't get to play guitar. I gig 6 nights a week, and people go, "How the can you do that?" I'm like, "Because I can't afford a therapist." So that is my therapy. Yeah. Even if it's I'm playing a wedding gig in Inverness or in the middle of nowhere, there's a reason why we don't mind driving 4 hours there and 4 hours back to do it. And it's obviously money as well, but we also do pub gigs, which is for less money, a lot less. But we do it because we love it, and I think everybody's got a different reason for playing music, but for me, it's just like it's the only thing I'm good at, and it helps me get out things that I can't always express, like verbally. I'm the most socially awkward person ever.
Really?
It doesn't seem like that because I know you guys, but if I meet somebody new, I'll say one thing and I'll walk away going, that was a stupid thing to say. Why did you say that? You've probably came across as like racist or something like, even though it was only like, oh, how's your day been? Yeah. I'll be like, just evaluating it for days afterwards.
I'm like that as well.
Yeah.
I used to have a sales job. I worked for a chauffeur company doing a sales job.
You sell chauffeurs?
Here's Jeeves. But I'm like that, and you used to have to go to these networking nights and things like that and go talk to people you didn't know and make small talk.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
I'll tell you what, there's a brilliant, because my other passion is stand-up comedy, so I love this guy, Jerry Seinfeld. I say this guy, everybody knows him, but he's got a great line where he's similar. He's, in a way, he's like, he says, he said, I'm very socially awkward. I could talk to all of you, but I can't talk to any of you.
Aye.
He prefers to, I can talk to like, the more the merrier. 80,000 people at Wembley, I could easily talk to them, no problem. But see the stage hand, he's like, do you want some more than you want? I was like, yes, please. If it's like, well, one-on-one conversation is like so awkward for me. Like,
do you not find that about, like, say if you go to the concert hall, how many is that? 400s or something at the party nights? What's that?
Yeah, roughly about that. I think so. About between 400 and 500, I would say, with the amount of tables and stuff, depending.
That's a lot easier. See, like, if you've got 20 folk at a wedding, one of these small intimate ones, the one like 500 people, that's easy.
Absolutely, man.
That's absolutely, because it's just a mass.
Yeah. And
you can't focus on one part apart from that guy.
I was waiting for you to stop just so I could interject and say, apart from that one guy who just, I'm no kidding. I don't actually remember if you were playing this particular part night. You might have been, but it was just...
No, it was the one, the guy works in Western House, the drummer works in Western House. That's universal sign for a drummer.
He's in a great band. I think he's in Highway.
Was it them?
I don't remember it. Not that band. It wouldn't have been that band.
What's the guy's name?
It's not even Highway, I don't think. It might be Ross.
No, it's Benjamin. He works Western House as a wedding coordinator.
See, it was probably about 3 times I'd seen him in there before I realised he was in a band, and he was always coming like, how's it been going? Like, you're pretty friendly for a guy, Most of the staff don't talk to us, because we just annoy them. Like, there's times, Lochside Hotel in New Cumnock. Yeah, I mean, I love that place and I love the staff, but we always have a laugh with them because they have got like legendarily shit turnaround music, and they always have it on full blast. And it's like
Scatman John.
It's well, I would love it if it was that.
So would I.
if it was anything at least as comically shit as that. But they're playing like
take that back.
Like
that guy's a fucking genius.
Yeah. Well.
Rest in peace.
I mean, I don't know.
He did. Scatman John, he's long gone. I'm going to do the ultimate podcast faux pas and go to the toilet. Excuse me a second.
Well, we can talk about that guy when he comes back.
But yeah, are we having a break just now?
No, we'll just keep.
We're going to keep going.
Keep talking. Cool. We've got that thing rolling, so.
All right, sweet.
We'll keep talking away.
There was, so they've got this music, but it's like the worst kind of new pop music. I don't know who the new rapper guys are, like in Still Game, and like, have you heard the new rapper music? I like the new rapper music, Have you heard of the PlayStation? I love the PlayStation. I feel like that when I'm talking to these people about music. I'm playing like the new Neo single, and all it is I wanna hump your baby, I wanna hump your baby, it's that, or it's just crap. But they have it on full volume, and fair enough, whatever helps them get their job done. But as soon as they put their music off, I put on AC/DC, It's a Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll.
Aye.
Full blast. And I'll always be like, this is proper music, kids. And they're looking at me like, Grandad.
I'm always like that when I'm doing my sound check to begin with. It's something for me.
Yeah.
It's always something for me.
Absolutely.
Because it's the only point in the night I'm going to get something for me.
Exactly.
And then I was going to say then it's into Billy Ocean, but I love Billy Ocean. I'm going to see Billy Ocean next month with my mum.
Billy Ocean?
Aye,
some guy.
At the Royal Concert Hall.
Well, enjoy that. Could have my seat as well.
What other 0% alcohol I'm going to have? Go and pass me that. What is this called?
Is that root beer?
This is a Warsteiner. No, that's that. What one? The black one?
Aye.
That's. Oh no, that's
racist. You can't say stuff like that.
Fentimans Curiosity Cola.
What's that?
It's like one of these traditional.
Gary could have that. He allowed that.
What is it?
Gary's one of these new age.
I don't want to
hippies.
talk about him, man.
See if there's
It's
any.
not a cola. It's just generally cola. It's just like traditional. They say botanically brewed. I don't even know what that means.
That is about as hipster as you get. Like,
Is there wheat in it?
Curiosity. No, cola's fine. Oh wait, yeast.
Yeast. Is that do you?
But I have had that before and it was fine. So
Infections don't count, Gary.
So I don't know what you were talking about. I was away, but
Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean.
No, we're talking about, was it the Lockside? The turnaround music?
just finishing talking about that because
Scatman John.
yeah, they have like the worst new pop music. Like I was just talking about, you remember Still Game where they're talking about, have you heard the new rapper music? I have, and I like it. But that's why I always put, as soon as they finish putting their music on, their room's done, I'll put on It's a Long Way to the Top by AC/DC. And I'll be like, this is real music, children.
Have a listen.
It was your man at the concert hall.
What?
Staring at the drummer, Benjamin. Your man, Benjamin.
Oh, right. Oh, this guy.
You can tell that I'm going to...
I admire the tenacity of this guy.
Could you grab us a couple more of them out of the fridge, please, man? The Dora.
I admire the tenacity of this guy. He just stood at the front of the stage, and I think during one of the turnarounds, I walked on, and this guy was kind of just fucking devil stare. And I said to Steve, I was like, I think this guy wants to talk to you, by the way. And Steve's like, no, I'm just trying to avoid eye contact with him. And this honestly went on for about 3 hours or something. Until this guy, we finally, I was like, you need to go and talk to him. He's out of his mind. He probably doesn't know where he is. And And we end up continuing. He's like, I want to propose to my girlfriend. And he's like, he wanted some particular song on or something, or he wanted a microphone. Am I right in saying that? He wanted a microphone as well to propose to his girlfriend. And it turns out after all this time, he's like, Lindsay, I love you. Lindsay, I don't even think one, that Lindsay was there, or two, she was a real person. So go figure about that one. But that was one of the strangest guys that just stood for in total about 3 hours.
And that's how we finished. What was that? Not last year, the year before. It was the last party night of the year. And that's how we finished.
That's how we ended it.
That's how we finished
The
it.
big man. I hope the big man did get married. If you're watching, then I hope it went well for you. So what's next? So obviously you're going to Nashville, and I think you said Chicago. For how long are you going over?
10 days.
10 days.
10 days is enough to take in.
10
days is enough to take in two cities, and the good thing about it is I know where I'm going now. You know what I mean? Because the other thing, I could go over and go to two new cities, but I would be starting all over again. New people, learning where the bars are, where that do live music, and trying to get integrated in the scene. So I think it's just because I already knew I was going to love Nashville when I got Chicago is a different kettle of fish. I don't really. I still love the bars and the music in Chicago, but it's not. I don't feel that comfortable walking about there on my own.
Right.
To be honest, it's a bit of a scarier city than Nashville.
Right.
I don't really know why. Well, everything's first of all spread out. You know the difference between Edinburgh and Glasgow. Like Glasgow's a grid, which is Nashville.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Chicago is like Edinburgh. It's like spread out, and there's not really a set structure as to where everything is. Like my favourite club in Chicago was Kingston Mines. It was a great place because it's like box in a way that the stage is in the kind of window side of it, and then you walk in, but it's like there's also a mirror image venue through on the other side. So when the bands are on 12 hours a day, so they'll play for an hour, take an hour's break while another band plays. So you pay $10, $12 to get in. Dollars. I'm not cool enough to say bucks yet, you know.
You pay $12 to get in.
and then, so the bands will just rotate, but it seems like it's such a long shift.
Aye.
And even in Nashville, like you'd be walking down the street Broadway, which is like Sauchiehall Street, but instead of shops, it's like bar. It's just like bars for like 8 blocks or something like that. And every single one of them's got bands on from 10 in the morning till 3 the next morning.
That sounds awesome, man.
So it was absolutely incredible. Like, but it's quite hard to. It seems quite hard to make a living there because no matter what time of the day you're playing, you get paid the same per head. You get $40 per head. Even if it's like 3 of you, you get $40.
Right.
And this is a generalisation. There might even be some bars watching this going, that's not true. But what I've heard from the guys who play there, obviously you can't just walk in and go, how much do the band get paid? You know, I know this from talking to players. Yeah. And like, they make most of the money on tips. So you can be a 3-piece band. You get paid the same over the bar, but you won't be, dividing the tip jar as much. So it still makes sense to be a smaller band. Yeah. But the downside of that is every band does 4 hours solid, so there's no breaks. It doesn't make sense to take a break because the people just leave and go to the next bar. Aye. Even if you only take 10 minutes, people are there to see the band, and there's so much variety and well, say variety, I mean, it's all country and rock music, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they can easily just up and leave, go next door. So it makes sense for them to stay on for the whole 4 hours.
I'd love to go to Nashville, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
The only other place, I always thought Glasgow was a good night. But I went over to Dublin last year. Not quite to that level, but there's live music, and certainly at night time in most bars, and it was just a totally different atmosphere altogether. Far, far superior to Glasgow. I suppose you need to know where to go in Glasgow. You can get some good live music as well there. I mean, again, that's the only. If somebody comes over and goes, "Where's the good clubs for R&B?" I'm like, I've not got a fucking clue. I mean, but you're out every night. Yeah, I'm out in the rock bars and playing or going to see bands. Like if I get a night off, I know where to go because I'm probably one of the best people to know for that because I've played most of the good places to play, and we've got it down to our favourite places now.
You know what I mean? Not just our favourite, but also some of the best paid.
Yeah.
Like, I've not even mentioned the Howlin' Wolf yet, but the Howlin' Wolf is a great night. From Wednesday to Sunday, they do bands, live bands every night. And they're just, they've always been great to us. We played there when it first opened, and we've been there every week since. We started off on a Tuesday, and then we got promoted to the Wednesday, and now we do every Thursday.
Excellent.
11.
You've got an album as well online, live at the Howlin' Wolf.
It's funny that, it was because it's a slightly different. It's me, Gibby, and Dean, the usual 3-card trick guys. We also have Gav McCrory playing lead guitar with us, and Archie McEwen on the keyboards. And it makes my job so much easier. The reason I got those guys in is because I didn't feel confident enough as a blues player. This is me going back to what I was saying earlier, but I just put this label on myself as I'm a blues player now, without having done any of the research or putting in the time to actually be good enough to call myself that. And now it's coming to kick my arse because the real blues guys in the scene are like... So brought Gavin and Archie in for that, and it makes my job a lot easier because I can go 3 songs without having to do a solo, but when I do, it's like, that's something different.
Aye,
you know, it
cool.
creates more texture through the 2 hours, because I could watch a Stevie Ray Vaughan DVD, it's 45 minutes long, but I'll get 20 minutes into it and go, yeah, I've got it now. You know, because it's just still blues.
Yep.
It's the same. It's a 3-piece band playing basically the same song for 45 minutes in different keys and different tempos.
Where is the Howlin' Wolf in Glasgow for anyone?
100 Bath Street.
Bath Street.
Yep. Used to be called the Monkey Bar.
Right.
And that was years ago. But now it's a cool place to go.
I saw your the sign outside. I work in my full-time job's Bath Street.
All right.
And I saw the sign out. We wandered at lunchtime, and I saw what must have been a Thursday.
Aye.
I saw the sign out, the chalkboard, 3-card trick.
Aye.
I need to come along and see you one night. And
It's a great night, man. You know, it's one of them nights when I was standing outside with my amp and my guitar waiting again. There was like a hen party on their way down the stairs, and they were all trying to get in past the bouncer. And the bouncer was like, "Oh, yeah, ladies," and you go. And they were like, "Before we go in, what kind of music's on tonight?" And he was like, "Oh, it's a blues band, I think." And they were like, every single one of them, like 10 of them, 10 hot girls. And I was like, "This is going to be a fucking great night." And 10 hot girls, they all looked at each other and went, "We don't like blues." And the bouncer just looked at me and he went, "No, they don't like blues." And I went, "Do you want to tell me, name one blues song? Name one blues artist." And one of them goes, "My dad likes Kings of Leon." All right, okay.
your dad's a dick.
And that's how that story ended.
Exactly. And then it ends up in me getting the shit kicked out of me by 10 pissed girls on a hen party. That's why that guitar looks like that. Kick the fuck out of it. So I just went, I'll tell you what, if you don't really know, I mean, you're saying you don't like blues, and we were saying this earlier, a lot of people just think it's depressing.
Aye.
I was like, come down for 20 minutes. We're going to be playing from 11 till 1. And come down for the first few bit. If you don't like it, leave, and that's fine. But at least try it. And they came down and stayed all night. They were sitting in the booth. They were doing shots and dancing, and I was like, "This is great." I never thought that me being a skinny white guy from the south of Scotland would be an advocate of promoting fucking
blues to
blues to hen parties. So that was a pretty cool thing.
So what's the long-term goal? Be it with 3-card trick, be it with the full-time gig, or with your own stuff? Do you just roll with the punches here, or have you got things in mind that you want to?
There is an ultimate plan, and it's going no faster or slower than I'm expecting it to, really. Aye. Because obviously the ultimate goal is to. I'm not even that interested in being a millionaire, like, Dave Grohl or whatever. Those dreams are long gone, but the goal is really just to make a living out of playing original music. Yeah, and that's becoming slightly more of a reality in the last few years, because we're chucking the original stuff into paid gigs. Yeah. It used to be a completely separate thing where that's a covers gig, that's an originals gig, that's a covers gig, But now that we're I'm trying to get to the point where like the covers gigs that we're getting are similar music to what we would write anyway. It's like when we chucked in a few tunes to the Motherwell Concert Hall gig that we did. They were, if nobody told you, you probably wouldn't know if they were covers because they sound like the songs that we're playing anyway.
Definitely.
But we've got this Spanish tour coming up in December, which was through, there's a guy called Lawrence O'Brien. No, not Lawrence O'Brien, Lawrence Jones. He's a blues guy from England, and he came up and played Sleazy recently, a couple of years ago now, actually. And I got the support slot, not realising until a week before it that the tickets were 15 quid, and I was expected to sell 30 of them.
The old people
and I had to give the promoter £10 from every ticket. But because I'd already, the conditions weren't, I was just excited to get the gig. So I signed the email and sent it back. And he was like, how are you getting on with ticket sales? I was like, well, you haven't sent me any. He's like, oh yeah, no, it's like online and it's 15 quid. I was like, fuck. So I had to convince 30 of my mates to spend 15 quid. Even though, this is what we were saying earlier, like even though they could see me at Box later that night playing songs they know for 2 hours for free, I had to try and convince them to come to Sleazy's, which is next door, to pay and pay 15 quid to see half an hour of my songs that they'd never heard.
Exactly.
So, but I worked my arse off, and luckily I had enough pals that went, all right, we'll do it this once, And because of that, the promoter put my name to another guy who promotes in Spain, this guy Diego, and that's why this December tour's coming about, because I scratched somebody else's back, and now they're
that's good.
Coming
you
back
don't need to sell tickets to Spanish guys now, do you?
I don't think I know any, so
I think like what you're saying as well, like even in Dublin, I noticed that when we were in Germany for the week, they've just got a completely different outlook to music, I think, or a music scene. And we were playing all original music at the time we were in. It would range from like a small venue to a pub to an Irish bar we played. They were all different, but they were all really busy. And folk were really just, I mean, they were enjoying the music, but I think that was more to do with it's live music. Do you know what I mean? And
right. They didn't mind that they didn't know the songs, or
exactly.
Yeah.
They were just into there's a live band playing, and maybe I like to think that a lot of them thought we had good songs and that at the time, and we just noticed a massive difference to being back home, because like you say, like when you've got a gig at home and you're just trying, it's a slog trying to convince people to buy a ticket because the scene's not there. Like I'm as guilty as everyone else, like to the point where I used to go to gigs all the time, and now I'm just like I can't be bothered. It's just not there. Do you know what I mean? And it's difficult.
It's a weird dichotomy now in the way that I think the ticketed gigs, you're not as guaranteed to see quality of product because you're buying a ticket for a gig where they're, rather than if you were going to Howlin' Wolf where the band's actually getting paid by the venue, then the venue trusts the band enough to give them 150 or 200 quid or whatever. So they must be good enough for that. So therefore you don't mind if you know the songs or if it's your mates or whatever. You can go in there almost being guaranteed a quality product.
Yeah,
and it's free to get in.
Yep.
So I'm not dissing like ticketed venues, because that's like if you are the kind of, if you're known, then you can sell tickets. But I'm not known. I'm known as a covers band, like basically a gun for hire if you want a night of quality covers music. But I'm not known in any respect as an original musician to that level yet. Like nobody's booking me for a pub gig going play all your own stuff. But this is why some of the pub gigs I will just chuck in some of my own stuff. It's the only chance I'll get to play it.
But no, I agree with you in that. Like when I was in Dublin, there was some songs I didn't know.
Yeah.
But again, you're caught up in the atmosphere, and it's just some great tunes.
Yeah.
So,
and as long as the people playing them are good, doesn't really matter, does it?
I don't think that's quite here. I don't know. There's a couple of bars in town. That you'll go get some good live music, but generally, I don't know where west of Scotland people looking for that. I don't know. I don't think they are. Generally, it's people out in hen do's or stag do's looking for where's good for R&B.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I think Glasgow's like that. I've
said that a few times. Any pub that I play in where there's people in enjoying the music, I'm like, you know what? Somewhere in this city right now, there's a nightclub where people have paid 15 quid to get in.
Right.
And they're absolutely, off their faces dancing to shite. You know what I mean?
You can't beat live music.
Why?
You cannot beat live music and the energy it brings.
Aye.
It's a totally different kind of energy, and that's me saying that as a DJ.
Oh, that's-
I don't have the talent to play my own music, so I just hit a big play button and play other people's
I
music.
mean, you don't spin records and beat match and stuff like that.
I thought that was what was in your box earlier. I think bringing a record bag up. Like,
Ruined the illusion.
That's my record bag. It's a diesel bag. I get that free with
Morrison's.
aftershave. I
Morrison.
don't even buy it for myself. That's my brother. But I don't know. Glasgow's got quite a pathetic kind of live music scene.
It's hard for me to pass judgment on it because I think I've been so far detracted from it for a lot of years that I can't really comment. I don't know. Maybe there is some secret wee bar that I'm unaware of that live bands play. I doubt it, but
Well, I hadn't paid any attention. You see the chalkboards outside places all the time when I'm walking, like at lunchtime out, and it's because I recognise the name, 3 Card Trick.
Well-
but how often do you just walk by those things without?
oh, absolutely, man. Well, I mean, I suppose I'm maybe different because I'm always on the lookout for the next residency. But you know, to get into a place that pays well enough for me to take a 3 to 5 piece band in, and it is going to be busy enough for it to be worth their while as well. You know, I'm not like going to
Yeah.
go, hey, you pay me this much money, and you know, I don't give a shit how many people I'm playing to. I'm getting paid. I wouldn't want to do that to the pub, you know, because that's what the decline of live music. That's kind of bands charging more than the venue can pay with regards to how many people are in it. But it's location as well, you know. There's a reason why some bars are busy and there's a reason why some bars aren't, you know.
yeah.
There's there was a place that was a great live music bar down in like you know where the Star Bar is now, Paul. It's kind of on the way to Shotlands, and that was it. What's it called, Maxwell Road or something like that? There was a pub right across from it, and a guy that I know, Jerry, used to own it, and he was putting in the same bands that would play the Clutha and the Scotia, and paying them the same to do the same job on a Friday or Saturday night, but just was never busy because of where it is. It's neither Shawlands nor the city centre. And he's like, why would people not get on a bus or a taxi down to there? I'm like, because if you go to the Scotia and the Clutha, you've got like the 2 or 3 venues in the same like walking distance. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's a shame that it's shut down now because he really did try to make that one work as another live music pub. And he was really good to the bands, but just wasn't in the right place.
Down that way, the Clutha direction, that's good. Have you been in like what's the one, the Wicked Lounge and stuff like that? It's down that way. They've got a good comedy night on a Thursday. There's
right,
another
right.
thing, like we were talking before we started recording. There's a wee guy I went to school with, wee Doigie, that's trying to he does a comedy night in Bells Hill. It's like once every 3 months he puts it on, but that kind of thing, there's not enough of that. So good on you, mate, for trying that kind of thing. He's
the
struggled
stand-up
through
thing.
it. Aye.
That's just a bit yassy before we were talking because you mentioned that obviously you're a big fan of stand up. You mentioned that you tried, or
It's just-
are you continuing to do stand up? Is that what you're saying, or did you try it one time?
I tried it. I did do it for about a couple of years. There was a place called the Holt Bar, and Chris Henry ran a night, or he hosted a night there.
I used to push trolleys with his brother in Tesco.
Really?
Aye. Big Andy.
Well, it's a good job I didn't go full into the comedy thing, or I'd be pushing trolleys right now as well. I did get, I got good enough to do. I did 10 minutes at the stand once on a Tuesday night. No, it was probably 5 minutes at the stand, but I did do 10 or 15 minutes at the Holt and got paid for it. I headlined.
Oh, amazing.
You know, so that was a defining. I was like, okay, I've done it now. That's me done.
I've peaked.
You know, but I started trying to write a new set, and it didn't really work. So I just binned it after that.
How was that? How was the writing comedy compared to writing music?
Oh, a million times harder.
Aye.
Yeah.
Well, I went to see Kevin Bridges there on Thursday, last week, and I playing to a venue the size of the Hydro, 13,000 people.
Crazy.
That's a different level of pressure to me. Comedy, like make people laugh. Then play music. Like if people are there to hear your tunes,
Aye.
they know the tunes and they're there and they're singing along. I think there's slightly less pressure than there's this guy. Make me laugh, entertain me.
Because it's the most subjective thing in the world. It's comedy. You know what I mean?
He seems to have that natural thing about him though, because I can remember back doing an event years ago before he'd actually exploded onto the scene, and they had booked Kevin Bridges, and it was just in a small function room in a hotel. And I can, you know, if I watch that back now, he's just the same, only in a massive scale. He's not changed his act. He's not changed his approach to how he is or how he talks or how he delivers his jokes. It's just the same, and that's a good thing to see.
No.
Whereas you see people that can only really perform well if the crowd is giving them back what they're putting out. I won't mention the guy's name, but we've done another event where they'd hired this particular comedian who seems to be doing pretty well now, and certain specials on Netflix and stuff like that, and high profile gigs. And
There's a Scottish guy, like.
yeah, and they had booked him and they paid him so many thousands of pounds to do something like a 1 hour set. And the crowd at this point, they had a few drinks in them. They just weren't really paying attention.
If I say his name, will you say yes or no?
I'll say yes or no.
What?
I will, yeah.
Is it Daniel Sloss?
That's the man. That's the guy. And
he's got a weird set though, man.
He's bombed.
Yeah, well, he would, because he's not like a Kevin Bridges kind of happy-go-lucky. He talks about depression and his, I don't know if he did this at the set that you booked him for or whatever.
I think I got to the point where I wasn't listening to him either. But he cut his set 15 minutes short, and just because he wasn't get the feedback that he wanted, and I thought that's fucking out.
No, you've still got to do your time, This is what, like, I'm never going to be even. I mean, I do like Daniel Sloss. I like what I saw on Netflix, but I can see him not being accustomed or not being great in that environment.
Yeah,
because he's kind of an introverted comedian. He's not like a, where are you from? What are you doing? He talks about himself, and that's fine. But you shouldn't be doing corporate stuff if that's your thing.
Well, that's the thing. And to be honest, I didn't get a chance to meet him personally, so I can't comment on what he's like.
Yeah.
In a 1-to-1, he arrived kind of just before his set started, and as I said, me and the rest of the guys were surprised because he was just like, you could see him, you could see it building up in him that he wasn't getting that. I don't want to say respect. It's not that people didn't respect him, but they were just there for a different kind of night.
The feedback.
He was entertainment. It wasn't his gig. Do you know what I mean? He was just there to entertain after a dinner. And
yeah, well, you've got to be whatever. I mean, if you're going to be a stand-up comedian, you've got to be versatile enough to. It's like being a musician. I'm not going to rock up to somebody's wedding and play my last 2 albums, my songs. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to rock up to a wedding and play a typical wedding set if I find out that they like rock music.
Yeah.
I'm going to play whatever suits. It's like when I asked you, what am I going to play at Motherwell? I'm going to amend the set to the audience. But if you go on stage and as a comedian, you should be able to do the same.
Yeah,
and I'm not a naturally funny person, but I love discussing and evaluating and working out the mechanics of why things and people are funny. So to me, it's like I like Jerry Seinfeld's not a naturally funny person either, which is kind of weird to say because he is the most famous comedian in the world, but he loves jokes so much that he worked on how to make them funny and the gaps between words and what words to use in what order.
Yeah.
Even things like what word to end the sentence on to make it like a full stop so people would know when to laugh or applaud. I love that. But
I found I went through to the Fringe this year, and there was a guy playing, and I would say he's a fantastic comedian, but he wasn't a naturally funny person.
Right.
And I think the difference between a naturally funny person and perhaps somebody that writes good jokes and well rehearsed and delivers them is when they get that interaction. They get heckled and it's just like, shit, this wasn't part of what I'd rehearsed.
Exactly, yeah.
And they're totally thrown off. When you get a naturally funny person, they just roll with it.
Yeah.
And they just go with it and they slaughter that person in front of them.
Yeah.
And then they're right back into maybe what they're talking about or maybe going off on another tangent. I think that's the difference. But some of the best comedians I've seen are probably not naturally funny people.
Well, it's like Lee Evans was my introduction to comedy, really, when I was a kid. Because he's family friendly, so that's the kind of shit you can watch with your mum and dad. When somebody gets you a DVD at Christmas, you all put it on. You don't want to be putting Frankie Boyle's "If I Could Punch You Through the TV, I Would." When you're sitting there with your family and your granny's sitting there, he's a bit brass, isn't he?
I went to see Frankie Boyle with my mum and dad at the Kings. It was
rookie
awful.
mistake.
It was awful. And don't get me wrong, he was brilliant, but it was awful. It's like, you don't go see that with your mum and dad.
No. Oh, that's terrifying. Like the comedy thing is something I would like to. I suppose the dream would be to make a living out of playing original music and do comedy as a hobby.
I think we should help you make a resurgence into this comedy scene.
No,
I'm eager to see it.
It's like I've got a couple of really good pals. Alex Waite, who's the singer in the Lockharts, you might know him,
Right.
and Gav, who's the guitar player in the Wolf Gigs. And we whenever we're out, if any of us say anything funny, I'll write it down. So we are basically a combo writing team,
Right.
but I'm going to be the one performing it, you know, which is weird because Gav is the most naturally funny person
I know.
that I've known, but he wouldn't go on stage and do it. Do you know what I mean?
It takes a different level of confidence to do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
But if it's
I
well,
couldn't.
like you say, if it's rehearsed and the guy knows his shit, then it would be just like doing a song. To me, anyway, it's like going through the motions of,
Yeah.
you know, just singing a song in front of a room full of folk. But I don't think I would do well with the interaction thing either,
No.
because I'm not quick and I'm not like naturally funny. I don't mind. I can do it at gigs because if you say something that you think's funny and it isn't, you just go straight into a song.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to deal with the deathly silence and the only noise in the room is the sound of your own urine pouring into your sock. You know what I
Finish
mean?
a joke like that. Okay, guys, we can start.
You're Shylang.
But I did actually combine the music and the comedy for a couple of gigs. I had a song with my old two-piece band called Bread Demon, and it was about. I'm not going to get into that right now.
I think I've seen the video.
Is that with the bread on?
Yes.
That actually happened. Now, in fact, maybe I will just tell you what it was all about. Like,
You might as well.
when I was in Perth, and me and my pal had just finished the gig, and we were going straight from the gig to a Halloween party we'd been invited to, and he had the foresight to buy like a costume. I think he went as like Superman or something.
Right.
And I was just wearing this normal shit.
You
up.
bought a loaf.
Well, we went to the guy's door and he was like, you can only get in if you're wearing a costume. And I was like, well, I didn't buy one. And he was like, oh, and you're fine. So my pal got in. He's like, oh, you can't come in. Like, well, you invited me. It's like, well, my pal invited you and the rule was bring a costume.
Yep.
I'm like, well, can I not just come as Gary from the band Mexico? It's like, well, you're not that famous yet, you know. And so I went down to the corner shop and hoping they would have like masks or something left over, but they had nothing. And because I was already half cut by this point as well, I thought, well, I'll just buy a loaf of bread and some elastic bands. So literally just turned up to this party, 2 slices of bread with holes cut for the eyes, elastic bands. And the same guy answered the door and he's like, what are you supposed to me? I went, Bread Demon? You never heard of Bread Demon? It's like a Marvel thing. And he let me in. So I got into this party dressed as a Bread Demon.
Job done.
And and then the next day everybody was like, mind that guy that was dressed with bread on his face, what a weirdo. So I wrote this song Bread Demon to justify why I was at this party dressed in bread.
Brilliant, that'll live on forever.
And it was like,
Is the video still online somewhere? I think it is.
probably, it's
Definitely seen it.
be on my YouTube or unless I've had the foresight to take it down. But yeah, no. So I played that a couple of times at my comedy gigs, but the other song that was a very divisive tune was called Celebrity Paedophile. Or Celebrity Pedo for short. And I made the mistake of actually uploading that to the 3-Card Trick SoundCloud instead of my own one.
And you get a couple of cancelled weddings.
Yeah, exactly. How'd you fancy that for your first dance? I know something about your husband, you don't.
Oh dear.
How's about that then?
But it was a good song to play because it was kind of like, I mean, I don't know if I can, I mean, you don't want to be libelous, do you? But it was things like, what was it?
Listen, we've got 28
Celebrity.
people subscribed. I think you're all right.
It's like, Celebrity Pedo touched me there when I was just a lad. I don't remember his name, but he was a friend of Dad's. And it was something about Gary Glitter anyway. And as his joy erupted up inside my tiny shitter, I said, I don't think I want to be in your gang, Gary Glitter. Something like that.
Gary, if I get married, you're coming along. First dance.
Absolute poetry.
Well, the good thing about a tune like that is that I can add I can pretty much add a new verse every year. Somebody else is going to get caught, you know.
Aye, that's true. Absolutely.
I was actually out in Glencoe. I went to see the Harry Potter.
Not caught, accused. We just
We went to see the Harry Potter kind of It Is On drive-in theatre thing, and my girlfriend wouldn't let me get a picture taking it Jimmy Savile's Pedo Cottage. I mean, I don't know how often,
Is that the sign?
how often do you get that opportunity?
Is that the sign outside?
That's a 2.5 hour drive.
Is that what the sign outside says though? Is that like,
Jimmy Savile's Pedo Cottage. It's on the Glencoe tourist leaflet. You get the pamphlet.
the star maps?
Oh, brilliant. Visit Scotland.
Just a
You might make it home.
box of big fake cigars for you to take a picture with. And Jimmy Savile with his hand like that, a big cutout.
Wee parts of Hamilton tour. There you are, you're away. Pensioners coach away to see the cottage.
That's what all took place. Anyway,
Oh, the one there was one bit in it in the wee tune that got us in trouble because it was Pete Townsend,
right.
and it turned out it was only like halfway through his trial or something, and I'd already implied that he was definitely guilty. So anyway,
Did you swap that out for someone else?
no, I still did it. But
Dave Lee Travis or something like that?
that song was the reason I didn't get invited back to the stand.
Right.
I can't say that. It did say in the terms and conditions nothing libelous towards,
Right.
Paedophiles.
suggested or accused paedophiles.
That's the problem these days, isn't it? It's getting too censored. And I think you hear a lot of famous comedians now saying that people are getting too annoyed or offended by stuff. Do you know what I mean?
That's why I like guys like you mentioned Bill Burr earlier on tonight and Jim Jeffries. It's just they just say what comes into their mind.
This is why I like what you guys are doing with this, completely uncensored. And this is the freedom that I suppose having your own YouTube channel gives you.
Aye.
You can literally say what you want, and it's up to somebody else to just go, well, do I want to watch this or not?
Aye.
Which is what frustrates me about stand-up comedy when people get offended. Like they'll go and see, one of my favourite guys is Stuart Lee. He's a weird guy, but he's uncensored as well.
Yeah.
And then they'll go to a Stuart Lee gig, or even just Frankie Boyle, and they'll complain. Like, you know what you're getting. Like, why were you okay laughing about, like, the Holocaust and cancer, and yet because he's talking about diabetes and you happen to be a fat fuck? You know what I mean? I'm offended by that, even though I don't mind laughing at dead babies.
Aye.
Listen, Gary, I'm sitting right here, you know.
Well,
But that Jim Jeffries I was watching, and he told a couple of stories. One was about he did a gig in, I think it's Kuwait or something like that, and they were shooting from the helicopter. They killed a guy with a handgun.
That's right, aye.
You see that?
I remember
And then
talking
what else they talk about? I can't remember. Then he moves on to religion. He says, so I've spoke about rape and murder from a helicopter, and because you're Catholic, all of a sudden this is where you choose to be offended.
I don't really. I think one of the most important things in any kind of art form is like non-censorship.
Aye.
Like, nothing should be. Either everything's okay to joke about or nothing is. You know what I mean? I love it when, because my mates are always joking about my braces, but it's fun. I like it. And that's a minor thing. You know, I'm kind of lucky. We're all lucky to be like white guys who live in the country that we're born in. So I don't know. We can never understand what it's like to be a black guy or whatever, you know, or a Jew or somebody who's, you know, there are jokes about that you probably shouldn't joke about.
Aye.
But so it's up to them to be offended or not by that. But we can't decide what to be offended by on their behalf.
Yeah.
I'm totally wording this the wrong way, you know what I mean?
But I think things are different now. Like, you've obviously got Riley. I've got 2 wee daughters, and I think things are different for them nowadays. Like when we went to school, all kind of roughly the same age, you took a doing over everything. Like the slightest thing, you're getting a roasting, and you took it and you got on with it. I'm not saying like bullying or anything like that. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's totally changed now, where the slightest thing is just it's PC, and you can't do it.
It depends where the place is, where the joke's coming from.
Aye.
You know, if it's coming from, well, I mean, you've watched enough like Jim Jeffries to know what I mean. Like, if the person or the race is the target of the joke, then that's obviously wrong. You know, but it's like, you know, I can't really. I'm not good enough at wording. It's been said. But what I'm trying to describe is like, she'd be okay to joke about as long as there's nothing vicious
Aye,
attached to
absolutely.
it. Do you know what I mean? It's like when one of our friends is his name's Hatham, and he's an amazing singer. But somebody I used to know called him his chocolate bear, and I'm like, is that all right? But I felt bad because he loved it. Hatham loved it, and I was like, well, that's not right. If anything, I'm being the arsehole here by being offended on his behalf, because he doesn't mind
Aye.
that chat between those two really good pals. He doesn't mind it, so why am I giving a shit about what he,
Nah.
you know?
That's quite endearing, I think.
Yeah.
I'd like to be called Chocolate Bear. Clearly not going to be, but still. Anyway. Any plans to record any
I always
new
thought,
albums?
you know what? When I watch podcasts like this, I always think I'd be great at talking about like racism and joking. Turns out I'm not.
I
You know,
just
it's
thought,
like-
Gary, I thought the exact same thing there myself when I started commentating at doing at school. I thought, we've wandered in a path. I can see the look of panic in Craig's face.
Yeah. It's going to be the only podcast where there actually is a cut at some point, you know.
Like, what's happened here?
Yeah, there's technical difficulties.
Looking back on, I'll have a different jumper on.
All good. I think people would need to be fucking brainless if they took it any other than what we meant from that. So
Well, yeah.
So
But it's one of those things like you could take any excerpt of any, if a comedian's doing a stand-up routine and they say a specific sentence, and then it gets written down in a paper the next day, oh, he has said this.
Aye, exactly.
The context completely taken out of it, so you can't really judge. Plus, it comes in through in the delivery, you know, and it's
aye.
like Jim Jeffries says. I mean, we talked a lot about him tonight, too much, I think, but he's like, oh, you know, it's my job to make these kind of really nasty things that I'm saying make them seem nice because I'm such a likable guy, you know. But that's the hardest bit. Like you've got to be likable,
no,
and sometimes maybe that's the hardest thing.
which is why I DJ.
You're a good DJ.
You can see now why I don't. It's probably a good thing why I don't talk at most gigs.
I think you should definitely talk more and get some of the stand-up routine in.
Just go into some straight up racism, Gary. You'll be fine.
Forever known as Gary the Racist.
Jesus, that got heavy very quickly. What was the line? What was the line that got you to that point? Then was it when I said we're lucky to be white? Was it?
I think that's what we heard, and then everything else was just a blur after
Yeah,
that.
That's when you put your pillow slap in your head. I was worried. So let's talk about music.
I think as I was just about to say, like,
We're gonna have to backpedal here a little bit here, because if you don't get it, then they're not gonna get it.
yeah.
What I meant was it's hard to take the piss out of us. I mean, as Scottish
Aye.
people anyway,
Yeah.
you know, we've got a sense of humour,
Aye, totally.
and as everybody does. But it's the people who get offended on behalf of other people that the issue is. You know what I mean?
You've got absolutely no right being offended on behalf of somebody else. You do. You don't.
I'm just gonna bend my knees. So I think, man, you know.
No, it's all good. It's all good. No, you're right though. You're right. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's a world where you're scared to say something because it could be taken out of context or not interpreted the way they mean.
Yeah.
And
It's
what way is
different.
that,
It's totally different now. Like even like the social media thing. Like I said, like talking about our kids, like the serious subject like bullying. Now it doesn't end. Like
Yeah.
before it'd be like you were at school and then you at least had the refuge, you'd go home.
Yeah.
Now you've got the social media, cyberbullying, all that kind of thing. It's a totally different society we live in nowadays. Absolutely. See,
I'm shitting myself now because I feel like I didn't get the chance.
we'll put a disclaimer. We'll have a disclaimer as well on the video that states that you're not racist in any way, and comment from you at the end
Yeah.
saying you're pals with everybody.
I think we're going to cover racism. Let's do it before we've had 4 beers. And You know what I mean?
Maybe you should have went the road I was going down with the 0% alcohol. I'm all good, guys. You can dig that big hole. I'm standing and watching you.
I feel that way. We keep talking, Gary, and it's
Just seriously
the holes is getting
bad,
bigger.
you know?
No, all good. Anyway, what I was going to ask, because we're dialing it back to the music, are you writing a new album now at the moment?
I'm always writing, man. It's one of my favourite things to do, coming after the gig. And it used to be the case where I would come in after the gig and then just the last thing I would want to do was play a guitar.
Aye.
Or even see a guitar, just sit here and watch comedy and go, I could definitely do what they do. Obviously not. And so nowadays I'll just come in after the gig and pick up the guitar and whatever comes out. I try to listen to music on the way back from a gig, but like new music, I feel like that's the best time to do it because you're like halfway through a gig, you're like, oh, this fucking song again.
Shang along.
Am I ever gonna get to a point in my life where I don't have to play Proud Mary or 500 Miles? I can't remember the last time I went 2 weeks without playing 500 Miles or Proud Mary. And but again, it's one of the things where you find a way to enjoy it. Whereas like with things like Proud Mary, we've got this kind of halftime rock section that we put in. I don't know if you remember us doing it at Motherwell. It was like we combined that with the middle of Welcome to Paradise by Green Day, and people do like the dancing away doing the Tina dance, and then they turn like, what the fuck are you doing? And I like that. I like making it hard for ourselves sometimes. You know?
I'm sure I heard something similar in the middle of 500 Miles as well at one point.
Yeah, we were like dun 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 dun. It's like Napalm Death. We'll now take the stage, you know.
Some kind of breakdown on it. It was cool. I
Yeah.
liked it. But I mean, do you put you maybe come back after gigs and you put songs together? So I mean, do you write songs with the intention of putting an album together, or is your album just a collection of songs that you've written? You know, is the focus on writing an album?
No, it's really just a case of like just keep writing until I've got 10 songs that sound cohesive.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like one of the problems I've always had in the past is, you know, because of I like a lot of different styles of music, and not only that, but I do like trying to write like that. But I've been told by a few people, actually quite recently, Jim Kilt, who's the guy who hosts the State Bar Jam Night, he was like, you keep trying to be this country or this rock, you know, this kind of a blues guy, and then one day you're writing Oasis songs like, you are a rock guitar player, like in the vein of like Slash or, obviously not that good, but at least in that ballpark, you know. Don't try and be Brad Paisley when you're brought up on Rage Against the Machine, you know, when you grew up like playing like that. So just be that, you know. You've not got all the time in the world. You know, so let's just focus on what you're good at, get that out, then you can start experimenting, you know. But he didn't say all of that, you know, I've elaborated slightly, but he did basically say, you know, you're a rock player and that's what you're good at, so just do that. But that was around the time I was trying to be a blues guy, and you know, the blues guys play a totally different style to me. I'm quite a flashy, play with a lot of distortion.
Yeah.
Like, so Joe Bonamassa gets a lot of slagging from the blues fraternity. He's not a blues player, plays with too much distortion, you know. I'm like, well, who are you to decide what blues is, you know?
Have you got any favourite tracks that you've written in particular?
That I've written, well, Cardboard Engine is a favourite of mine, but that's really on the heavier side of things.
The title track from the album, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
I like a song on my first album called Man That Boy Could Play. That's a popular one. That's one that's like, it's got the Freebird ending, so it's like a fake ending, and it kicks into the kind of faster riff. So that's pretty fun, because the audience thinks it's finished and like, oh yeah, we've got it. And then it starts getting faster again. Yeah. I think we might have played that the other night as well. But Motherwell.
I was going to say, so online, have you got, I think you mentioned you've got a lot of free, have you got songs of your own that are for free that people can download and listen to? And
it's all on Spotify and YouTube and that, so I just don't think people are, I mean, we talked about this, well, everybody's talking about it right now, how the music industry is not making any money because it's all available on Spotify, you know. But I did see a quite interesting chart the other day about how like CD sales obviously took over from vinyl, then it all kind of took a dip in like 2008 or 9, but it's actually going up again.
Right.
Like the actual revenue, I'm not talking about like pirated downloads and stuff like that. But the revenue that musicians are making from music is going up again. And that might be because of Spotify. You know, people would rather than illegally download, they might just be going, well, just stream it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not totally for Spotify. What do you guys think about Spotify? I think it's a good or bad thing.
I love it.
It's obviously good for you and myself when I'm doing the DJ sets.
Well, I don't use Spotify when I'm DJing. No, the kind of software I use isn't compatible with it.
Oh, right.
Personally, I love it. To me, it's opened up like different door music that I wouldn't necessarily have listened to before or bought an album.
Yeah.
I'll go give that a go. I really like that. I'll maybe download the album, kind of listen to that offline, and if then I'll maybe really get into a band, and then I'll buy a CD. So that kind of thing. That's what it's done for me. Yeah.
I don't really listen. I think that's probably 90% when I listen to my music is off Spotify, even if it is in the car or at home or anything like that. So I mean, I think it's great. I almost probably couldn't do without it. But yeah, the negative part of that is, you know, people can just go on and get their instant fix of a song on an album, and then that's them. Whereas before, years ago, it was like people wrote albums to start to finish. It was a start to finish listen. And I think there's a few bands out there now that I think I watched an interview actually with that guy Ryan Tedder, who fronts One Republic and writes songs for other major artists like Beyonce and stuff like that.
Ed Sheeran and guys like that. Is he writing for Ed Sheeran?
He's writing for Ed Sheeran as well.
Yeah,
And I think he said, especially talking about One Republic anyway, because recently they had been releasing singles, and he said he's like that's going to be our focus for the however long in the future, because albums are, certainly in his eyes, you know, an album could take 2 years to make, and the first song you've written is no longer relevant after that 2 years.
Yeah.
So we're just in the process of, when we write a song, we're releasing it as a single, and they certainly have done that over the course of maybe the last couple of years, and maybe that's the way to go. Maybe people are appreciating that big song straight away rather than albums these days. I hope not. I hope that the whole album culture comes back.
It's something I miss doing. You know, you get an album back in the day. There's certainly that kind of excitement that isn't there anymore. When you was a band you were really into, and you go along and you're buying that physical product, reading the linear notes, and you'd listen to the album from beginning to end. And hopefully it was one of those ones that was no filler in it, and you can listen to it from beginning to end.
I think maybe it seems like there's more filler in albums now because the tracks are so easily skippable because you didn't pay for them.
Aye.
I mean, all those CDs in that unit over there, I would listen to front to back 3 times, and then you later on you'd pick out what you would thought were the filler tracks. But these days, an album I'm guilty of it myself, which is the most frustrating thing, because I always hope people aren't like that when they're listening to my stuff. You know, but people will just cherry pick. I mean, I've seen myself do it. They'll cherry pick certain songs from albums, and at the end of the day, that's fine, because at least if it's streaming, then they're going to stream that song as many times. It doesn't matter what song it is, as long as they're listening to your material online, you're going to get the revenue from it, you know.
How does that work, the Spotify model? So you must get a percentage of every time somebody streams that song?
Yeah, but I think the percentage sign would laugh at you if you called it a percentage of that.
I remember I heard Steven Tyler talking about it on the
0.001.
Joe Rogan. It was that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was talking about the Joe Rogan podcast.
Right.
Even a guy like that, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, just making like a tiny amount of money from Spotify.
Yeah.
So it must be so difficult. You know, somebody like yourself that's not at that level of Aerosmith.
Yeah, well, I never really considered. I never really thought I would be able to make money out of doing original music. Anyway, I'm saying, like I was saying earlier, that is the dream. That's the point you want to get to. But now it's like it's all fucked. You know, I mean, I don't understand. Even guys like Steven Tyler and people at that level, like Brian Johnson from AC/DC, even said, if I was a brand new artist now, there's no way, I wouldn't have a clue how to start even thinking about making money of original music. You'd have to just go on the road. But luckily, I'm used to that anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gigging every night. You go Edinburgh, Glasgow. This is my normal week. It's like Edinburgh, Glasgow, then it could be Inverness, Aberdeen, and then some Newcastle or something like that. So you're already used to being on the road. So if we ever got to the point where people would actually pay to buy our tickets, we'd be like, oh, at least we're on the road playing our own music now. You know, which is different to a band who makes all the money from record sales and tours to promote the record. Now the record promotes the tour. Is the way around it is, you know what I mean? Which the only guy who's really probably done it cleverly in that respect is probably C6 Steve, because his albums probably cost about $2,000 to make, you know what I mean?
True.
And obviously Jack White before him, because we were talking earlier about how the production quality of music's gone up, but the money that you're making from it's gone down.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, if I listen to a band on Spotify and the quality is not great, as long as it's listenable, hopefully you can see through the production values and just see the music.
Yeah.
You know, which maybe you guys, I don't know if you being a sound engineer, you're probably a lot more pernickety than me with things like that.
I could see why that would seem so, but no, I think if the song's there, I think that sound quality becomes a little bit more irrelevant, because the entire, the song is, if it's a good song, it doesn't really matter. Surely, all the mix needs to be together, and it can't sound like a bag of nails. But don't get me wrong, because I think in the flip side of that is a supremely produced album of shite songs. Well, which happens more often than not.
But if you ask anybody, they'll go, "Well, would you rather have an album that sounds great but the music's shit,
exactly.
or the music was awesome but it's sound shit?"
Which is most fucking pop acts these days, that's been churned out by the machine.
And Jack White has got it right. He's recording albums in his garage. With not much more gear than what there is here.
I think that's just all coming back, because everybody with a laptop these days can have it's like a studio essentially. And with the introduction of bigger and better plugins, and it's so easy just to sit and record something that sounds great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's so I kind of I think it's just going to come full circle. We're just going to go back looking for that live, raw, warm, analog feel.
Yeah, you're right.
So everything's good. It swings and roundabouts. It's just all going to come back, and hopefully it does start creating a resurgence in a lot of stuff, especially in rock music, I think. Because I think we spoke about, I think we kind of briefly mentioned it before, like when I think someone had asked me a wee while ago, who do you think the next big band will be? And the answer to that was like, I don't think there will be one.
Yeah, well, that's
in the same vein as the Stones and AC/DC or anything like that.
Well, Oasis are probably the last like massive band there probably will be. The Killers could have done it if they'd really tried.
Yeah.
But I think they're a bit. I do love the Killers, but I think they know how to write a hit, but sometimes they choose not to on purpose. It's a weird way to kind of look at it, but I don't really. I mean, once you've done Mr. Brightside, and somebody told me, and even later on, you can tell they were like, well, we might need a hit for this album, so let's write Human. But everything after that, I think they've gone, do we really want to be at the height of U2 and Oasis, or do you want to just be just at that level where we can do our own thing?
It seems to be that way. I think Imagine Dragons are pretty much on the arena level, in terms of scale, and still relevant, recent in the grand scheme of things. I'm not talking about like Ed Sheeran, who's just a global superstar, but these kind of rock bands, certainly, it's almost like there's a glass ceiling that they'll never get above because of the state of the music industry. And certainly for new artists that aspire to, you look at any interview back in the day, be it like a young Rolling Stones or a young AC/DC, or I'm a massive Def Leppard fan, but I'll say a massive Def Leppard fan, Hysteria, that was about it. But they always set out to be the biggest band in the world. They always had that aspiration to be that. No one really aspires to be that because they're too scared to say it. They're just kind of, even maybe yourself to a certain degree, you just want to make a living from making music, but who wouldn't want to be the biggest artist in the world? And maybe there's a lack of tenacity with somebody wanting that because of the state.
This is what we were saying a bit earlier about personalities as well in music, is that nobody wants to be that kind of brash, brazen front guy anymore in case somebody in the audience goes, what a knobhead. You know what I mean? It's like somebody's going to come up on a Facebook, lad Bible thing, like, look at this arsehole thinks he's Freddie Mercury or whatever. But we need people like that.
You're
and
right.
That's why, to a certain extent, I mean, I'm never going to be at that level, but when I play a gig, I at least try to be a bit more like a bigger version of, there's a great song by John Mayer who's one of my favourite singer-songwriters of all time and guitar players, called Bigger Than My Body. And that's about that. It's about, my personality, and that is bigger than this physical form that I've been given. And I'm going to try and he's now filling stadiums with nothing but, I mean, he's not like an amazing singer. He's won like songwriting awards and he's a great guitar player, but he himself will say, I've got a limited range and I do what I can with that. Like, can you imagine John Mayer singing Thunderstruck or like Back in Black and stuff
Bob
like that?
Dylan in it. Do you know what I mean? Bob Dylan was a fucking horrendous singer in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But,
conversely, though, we've got Ed Sheeran, who is an amazing singer, can't play guitar for shit. You know what I mean? So
there you go.
Well, I saw you when Ed Sheeran was playing Hampden. You put an interesting post up. I remember that because he took an absolute doing off the people in Glasgow and surrounding areas. This kind of ginger guy playing like Phil in Hampden, and people so critical of him. And you put up a post that says, "See when you can fill a stadium playing an acoustic guitar yourself. Come and talk to me then." It's
always that. I think that applies. I don't think it matters whether it's music or any avenue of entertainment or life or public spectacle. People will absolutely love you and support you through that phase of starting out.
Until you
get to the height of your success, people start wanting to bring you back down.
Yeah.
They're jealous. And that happens everywhere.
But it's probably the same percentage of people. Do you know what I mean? If you got, if only 100 people know you, one of them is going to think you're a bit of a cock, right? If 1 million people know you, then you've got 10,000 people thinking you're a cock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't work out what the percentage is, but it is 10,000 in it, and it's the people. It's like when you're, especially as I know this as a wedding band. If you do well, people will tell 10 people. If you do badly, they'll tell 100 folk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like the haters spread their word quicker than the likers do.
The wedding industry's brutal for that. I've seen businesses just wiped out.
Absolutely,
because of that.
Yep. I mean, it's only a matter of time before there's like an equivalent of TripAdvisor for stuff that we do. All they've got right now is forums, and touch wood, 90% of what's been said about us on there is good. But once there's a TripAdvisor thing, you really have to.
Let's sort out that app right now before we put this podcast online, and we'll make that our niche app, and that could be how we make our money.
What are we calling it?
Gig Advisor.
Genius.
Yeah.
Up there.
Prick Advisor.
You said you want it quick as well.
Oh well, lads, to wrap up, because that's been fucking 7 hours.
What time have you on?
That's a good wee 2 hours. We've been sitting talking absolute shite. So
well, at least we got at least 20 minutes of usable shit.
Absolutely, aye. And amongst the casual racism, talk about music.
Don't make me go back into that, man, because that was
destroyed half his booking.
I'm completely. I'll hold my hands up and say that I didn't put myself across correctly there. But what I meant was, again,
it's like a can of worms.
Right, never mind. It's you can't dig yourself out of that.
I don't think you've.
But it was not. I mean, I can see now the way.
I think you've wrapped this up in your own head. I think you've kind of. Yeah. You see it a little bit. I didn't see any issue with it.
You didn't?
No, there's really? no issue.
I'm actually just having a laugh at it now. So
I'm going to have a cry later on. That's
straight on the phone to Coast as soon as you leave this.
It was my father talking.
That was my twin brother Barry.
Yeah. Oh, dearie me.
So where can people come and see you then? And what can they go and listen to? For those who are maybe not familiar with your own stuff, or with the wedding band, function band, or your residencies and that, what do you recommend? Give people something to go and listen to and somewhere to go and see you.
Another band.
Go and see another band, folks.
No, everything's on I've got my own website, which is never maintained because it's all just links. So GaryJohnstonmusic.com
got you.
Is where to go. And even if you don't go through the website, it's got all the links to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all that stuff. So
And the
all the
KKK.
stuff's on there. So
Links to the KKK as well.
Jesus.
The Westboro Baptist Church.
oh no,
Oh dear, it's a good laugh, isn't it? But anyway, let's wrap this up. Gary, thanks. Don't leave me hanging.
hey,
Thanks, brother.
thanks for having us,
Good chat.
Steve.
Nice one.
It's been a pleasure.
Job done.